Please go to elithecomputerguy.com in order to view schematics, code, and more for the projects that you are learning about. Welcome back. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to do basic group management in the Linux world. Now, it is important to understand in the Linux world that their system for users and groups and permissions is nowhere near as sophisticated and complicated as what there is in Windows, at least from the base installation level. Obviously, you can add services, you can add software to a Linux server to create a complicated security environment, but the base installation of Linux has a much simpler system than the Windows world does. So basically, whenever you're dealing with files or in folders in the Linux world and you're dealing with permissions, basically you have a permission for the owner, the owner of the file or folder. You have permission for the group owner of the file or folder, and you have permission for everybody else. So basically everybody else. With those permissions, you have the ability to read, to write, or to execute. And so whenever you see something like 777, those permissions go towards the owner of the file or folder, the group owner of the file or folder, and then everybody else. And so in the Linux world, what you can do is you can do things, say the owner of file or folder has the read, write, execute permission. Basically, this would be the equivalent of the full control permission in the Windows world. Then you can have the group owner of the file or folder possibly only have the read permission. So let's say you as a user, you're adding something to a folder, and then you want the group owners to be able to go in there and actually see what you're creating. So that's the kind of thing that you can do with permissions when you're dealing with the Linux world. And then obviously for everybody, you could then put that to 0. You can basically give everybody no permission. So whenever we're dealing with permissions, that's what we're going to be thinking about doing, is we're going to be thinking about the user account owner of a file or folder. We're going to be thinking about the group owner of a file or folder, and then we're going to be thinking about everybody else. So when we create these groups, that's kind of the mindset of what we're dealing with. Now, when we create groups in the Linux world, again, when we're dealing with configurations, configurations all essentially more or less go into a text file. So this is not like the Windows world where you have Active Directory databases and you have registries and all that kind of thing. In the Linux world, it all gets dumped into a text file. And so the text file you have for groups is /etc/group. That's just a file. You can use Vim to open it up, and when you use Vim to open it up, you can see the group name and you can see the membership of the groups. So what I'm going to show you how to do today is I'm going to show you how to open up that file. I'm going to show you how to add groups. I'm going to show you how to add users to groups. I'm going to show you how to remove users from groups. And then I'm going to show you how to delete groups. And then you'll understand the basic group maintenance and management in the Linux world. So with that, let's go over to the computer and I can show you how this works. So here we are at my computer. Again, I've got Ubuntu server 18.04.3 running in a virtual machine on VirtualBox. Again, you can be running VirtualBox on Windows, MacBook Pro, Linux, and Solaris, if anybody still has Solaris out there. And you should have the same environment, be looking at it. So anyways, my root account that I've created for the server is Bob, of course. The password is 123456. And now we're logging in, and yay, we're logged in. So let me do clear to clear the screen. Now the first thing that I want to do is I want to show you that folder that contains the group information. So I'm going to use Vim. I'm not using sudo Vim, so sudo. I'm not using sudo Vim because I don't want to actually edit this file. And since it's a major configuration file for the operating system, I don't want to accidentally do something, right? I know myself. If I can prevent myself from accidentally doing something, that's a good thing. So I'm simply going to use Vim. And so Vim, since I'm opening a protected file, I have the ability to read it but not modify it if I simply use Vim. So I'm going to use just Vim without sudo to open it up in read-only mode. So then I'm going to do etc, then I'm going to do /group, and now we're going to see the group file. Yay! And now we can see we have the group file here, and I can go through and I can see the different groups. So these are all the default groups that are created by Ubuntu when you install the operating system. These different groups have different permissions to do different things. would basically deal with different services on Linux. We can see the ADM. Here we have syslog and Bob, our users of the ADM group. If we go down, we can see sudo. So when I'm able to use a sudo command, you can see Bob is the only member of the sudo group. And we can just scroll down and we can see all of these different groups here. So since I'm in Vim and it's read-only mode, I have not done any changes. So I'll simply do :Q. This will quit. I don't have to force quit. I don't have to right quit because I haven't made any modifications. And I am now out. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to create a group. So I'm going to create a test group. So to create a group, I'm going to have to use sudo. Then I'm going to do addgroup command. And then I'm simply going to add the group, test group. Pretty simple. So sudo addgroup test group. And then I'm going to hit enter. Ask me for the password. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now test group has been added. If I go to Vim /etc/group, we now open up the file again. And if we scroll all the way down, we can now see that I have a group called test group. So that's pretty easy. Again, to get out of here, I do I do Q, and I am now out. Let me do clear. So now the next thing that I need to do is I need to add some users to that group that I created. So in order to do that, it's sudo adduser username group name. Pretty simple. So I'll do sudo adduser. So I have a user called Ralph. R-A-L-P-H, and then I'll add Ralph to test group. Hit enter, adding user Ralph to group test group. Just to add another member, sudo add user, so I'll add Bob to test group, and so now Bob will be added to test group too. So Bob has been added to test group. If I now do Vim again, so I go and I take a look at that file, so /etc/group, I can hit enter and scroll all the way down. And there we go. So at the bottom of the screen, we can see test group, and now the members of test group are now Ralph and Bob. So that's basically what we're dealing with here. Then we can quit out of this. Let me clean the screen again. And so now let's remove a user from that group. So we have test group, both Bob and Ralph are in that group. And so, Bob gets to do everything. Bob gets to be everywhere. So why don't we remove Bob from that group? We'll let Ralph be special. So what we're going to do is we're simply going to use deluser, username, group name. So we do sudo deluser, and then we're going to remove Bob from test group. Pretty simple. So sudo deluser, username, group name, hit enter, removing Bob from group test group. We now do Vim /etc/group, hit enter. And if we scroll all the way down, we can see now that test group only has Ralph. So Ralph can finally feel special. Ralph is so special. Except we realize we don't really care about test group. So let's get rid of test group. Again, :Q to get out of Vim. Let me do clear to clear the screen. Okay, and so now let's just remove the group entirely. So we do sudo, we do delgroup. So delgroup, and then whatever the group name is, test group. So sudo delgroup, so that's a command to delete the group, and then the group name. Then we hit enter, removing group, test group, done. We go to Vim, go to /etc, go to /group. We scroll all the way down, and we can see that the test group is no longer there. So we were able to add a group, we were able to add multiple users to the group, we were able to remove users from the group, and we were able to delete the group, and it was all pretty simple. Now, one of the things I have realized, I've been a bad instructor. I've been a bad instructor, and I've been a bad administrator. One of the things I realized in one of the last videos is I said that you should never walk away from the console when you're still logged in, and then I realized I don't think I've actually shown you folks how to log off of Linux. So, if you've been wondering how to log off of Linux, whenever you walk away from the console, whenever you're done, what you should type into the console is EXIT, exit. If you type in exit and you hit enter, that's what logs you out of the console. So I've been a bad boy. I've been a bad instructor, and I've been a bad administrator, and yeah. Well, I don't know. What are you gonna do about it? So anyways, that's the basic idea of group management in Linux. So now you have a basic idea of group management in Linux. You know how to create groups, you know how to add users to the groups, you know how to remove users from the groups, you know how to delete the groups. And just like everything else that you do in Linux, there's 1,000 other arguments and options that you can throw in there. So if you want to go and take a look at the man pages, or what I would argue, go take a look at the Google for different things with groups and users and all that, I would highly suggest you do. A lot of the options, a lot of the arguments that you have get really kind of esoteric, but some of them may be very, very useful for you, especially if you're really going to be using groups and users a lot in whatever Linux server that you're going to be building. So that's really all there is to it. Again, the big thing to remember about the Linux world, the big thing when you're dealing with users and groups in the Linux world, is that it is a hell of a lot simpler than what you're getting in the Windows world, right? In the Windows world, at this point in time, oh my golly, they got so many options, they got so many policies, they got so much. Not in Linux. Again, you can build, you can add components to Linux to make security and all that much more complicated, but the base install of Linux is very simple. Basically, you have 3 permissions. You have read, write, execute, and then that is assigned to three different groups. You have the owner of the file or folder, you have the group owner of the file or folder, and then you have everybody else. It really is that simple at a base level in the Linux world, so just don't overthink it, especially as a Windows administrator. If you're used to administering Active Directory, I can see going into the Linux world and basically trying to do crap you literally just can't do from a base level, and then getting frustrated. The reason you can't do it is because you literally can't do it. It's not that you don't know how to do it, it's not gonna do it. So just kind of keep that in mind. We'll go forward. I'll talk more about security and how all that works as we go forward with more of these videos and classes, but that's a big thing to keep in mind. One of the big things to keep in mind is that, how do I put it? The reason that it's like this weird thing with Linux, why Linux seems complicated, is on one hand, it seems hard. It seems hard because you have to know the specific commands. You have to be very, very precise in the commands and what you type into the system. So that way it seems hard. But what also kind of makes it a little hard is, in a lot of ways, it's a lot simpler than the Windows world, right? The Windows world has just a huge amount of options. And so one of the issues that you can get into is a lot of people assume that Linux can do more than it can, at least at that base level. And so they're trying to do more sophisticated things than Linux can do. And then they're getting confused because the commands are really complicated to understand. And so what happens is they feel stupid because they can't get done what they want to get done. And the problem is because Linux, at least as a vanilla installation, literally can't do that. And so people kind of start running around in circles, and then again they give up and decide to go off and be florists. So just realize that in the Linux world, with a lot of this stuff, it's actually a lot simpler than what you have in Windows from a vanilla installation. So don't get too worked up if you can't figure out how to do something. So with that, as always, I enjoyed doing this video and look forward to seeing you at the next one.